Hello my felting friends, welcome back to this week's video. This week we're going to do an autumn forest by moonlight. Well, that's what we're hoping anyway. So what I've got here is a blue, and the bit I showed you next to it just then was just some blue, the same blue added with some white. So we're going to start off with this, and we're going to put the straightforward darker blue down either side of this picture. We're just going to build it up all the way down because we're going to keep the central area lighter, so that's why we're doing the darker bit down the edge. And then the bit that we've mixed with some white we'll put down through the middle. I haven't done a picture, I haven't done a drawing this week for this one because it's actually very basic. The things are going to be wherever you want to put them really. So this is the lighter bit. You see, it's not too much lighter, but it does add a little bit of brightness to the middle, and we're going to carry that all the way down to wherever our little trees and hills bits are at the back. So it's basically like the horizon line. I am leaving a little tiny gap where I've put the moon. You'll see that, just so I know where to go back and put my moon. And I've kept the moon quite small for this picture as well. So as you can see, all I've done is bring that lighter colour right down. It's actually just a little bit below where I want my background line to be, so that when I come to put the background on it, it can cover over that just a little bit. Now I'm mixing some more white with that blue, so it's really quite light now. And as you can see, it's still got some of the blue in, but this is going to be where the moon is. So that little gap I left, I'm putting this bit around it. Well, over it really, so that we're going to have a little bit of shine from the moon itself. But I do still have a little bit of that blue mixed in with it. And then we'll take the straight white in a minute and we'll make the moon out of it. Now I'm using obviously a template, but you don't have to. You just need to have a smallish circle. You can find something to draw around if you want to, or just make it circle shape. But mine's only about half an inch, really, 3/4 an inch at the most. And this picture's only sort of 5 inches tall by about 7 inches long, 7 or 8 inches long, so it's not a big picture. It did take me quite a while to do though. But I think that was because of all the leaves and things. Now I've got some dark brown that I'm just filling in the background here with. I'm just marking out my distant line to start with, and then I'm going to go and mix that with a few other bits and pieces to make it a bit more varied. So here I'm mixing some of the, it's still fairly dark brown, but I'm working on darker browns when this has got just a touch of that more red brown in it, but only hints, because I'm still really just filling in the area more than anything else. And with this one I wanted to show you, because to try and show you some of the colours in it, and I've got a hint of the dark green in it. I was going to say that at the end of this video you will see, rather than try and tell you the names and things of colours, what I've done is, because I keep all my colours in little boxes, as you'll probably see, what I've done is I've saved all the little boxes of the colours that I've used, and I've laid them out in a grid at the very end of this picture, and with the names next to it, so you can see exactly what colours I used and what they're called if you want to get them, or you just want to try and match the colours. But in some cases I've just used tiny bits of them, but I thought I'll show you them all, and that way you've got all the ideas. See the little boxes there? That's what I use, and I've kept all the boxes. Any box I grabbed I kept, and I've shown it in the grid at the end. So here I'm mixing pewter now, because that's my new second favourite colour, and I've mixed the pewter with the brown because I want a distant look of moonlight on the ground here. So you'll see that in just a moment. I'm going to start putting that down. I don't know where I wandered off to there. Yeah, so this is, oh no, cancel that. I'm coming back to that bit. That bit, the pewter and the brown, is being mixed together to make distant trees. We will actually use the same colour in a little while as well. Now, wherever you've got your horizon line, you'll see I'm just building up lots and lots of distant trees. because a lot of these won't be seen very well. They're supposed to be a long way away. They're going to give you the illusion of depth in the picture. So I built actually quite a few along the back here. I didn't bother, especially with branches, anything like that. I just built all the trunks, and I've got them. None of them are just going straight up and down. I've tried to vary how they look a little bit, and I did put in quite a few along here. But I wanted it to look very woodlandy, so if I'd only had a few it would have looked a bit sparse. So I just built up quite a few in the back there. And these bits, this is the pewter that I like to use. And all I've done is, just because I wanted a few hints of what would be like distant branches, I've just pulled it thinly and I'm just laying it down. And it's not anything in particular, I'm just blobbing bits down, but nice and thin, because you won't see them again. It's just going to be a distant look of, you know, when you look into branches in a long way off, you just get an idea of branches. So this is what I'm going for. And the two colours in those boxes you see up there, not the dark brown, but the other two are my favourite colours. It's pewter and petrol. I'm finding the petrol now to be extremely useful as well. So here I've got the petrol colour, and I've mixed it with hints of more of an orangey colour. You can see there's just hints, because obviously it's autumn. So, but I just want little tiny bits showing like that, because that's going to be the long distance leaves and things. And the little bit of lighter I'm putting here is the sky colour, the lighter sky colour. So now we're on to the darker brown, and I'm now going to build up some more of the distant trees, but these are a little bit closer, so that's why they're a little bit darker. And I'm just having to play here to see if I can split them and make some branches out of it. But you don't have to do that. You could go and put little branches in if you want to. You don't need many. It's just to make it to start to look more like a tree. And my aim here is to have a V shape at the top where the trees are in a V shape, so you'll get a V shape of sky around the moon. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And we're going to have, it's like a pathway coming from where you're standing, looking down towards the moon. But the pathway is not going to go central down the middle of the picture, it's off to one side a little bit. So again, I'm just building up rough shapes of trees here, but it's slightly darker. So again, I want quite a few of them, because again, they're still going to be behind the main trees that we're going to put in, and I'm trying to give that illusion of being able to walk through the forest. So I do need trees, quite a few of the trunks. But as they get closer, I do a little bit more as to giving some branches and things. So there you go, you see we've got quite a few more there now. I'm taking that pewter colour, not pewter, I'm sorry, I'm taking the petrol colour that I've got, that I showed you, and I'm laying that down because that's quite a moonlighty colour. So I'm laying it down in the bit distance here just to start to get the hint of the blue light. It's quite thin because I'm trying to keep everything so that you can see between it. And this I'm putting at the back because I'm just blending in the line a little bit between the sky and the ground. Now here I've started to take, as you can see that colour, it's got the petrol in it and just a hint of orangey brown, not bright orange, just a dull kind of browny colour, but reddish brown. Will get my words out. And I'm just adding some of that in the distance to start to give the hint of a touch of colour where the moonlight's catching the leaves, but I want it very, very faint. So now I want to start to bring in little bits of the what would be like bushes and things in the autumn colours in the distance, but again I'm not worried about leaf shapes, I'm just adding bits. So these will be like leaves on the floor and the sort of bushes and twiggy bits in the distance. So but it's still not a bright orange. If you look, it's still quite just a basic chocolate brown really. So now I'm going to start to build bigger trees up in the front. Normally I twist my trees like that, but I actually found not twisting it on this occasion was more helpful for some reason. So I'm actually building up, these are going to be the trees that line the edge of the path, so I need them quite chunky, and I need to pay attention to what I do with the branches and things. I do twist the branches because I like the effects they get, but I found, I don't know why, just twisting the trunk on this one just didn't seem to work. I wasn't getting the shape I wanted. And then I'm building a bit of root down as well, because it's going up a bank, so I thought you might see some of the roots. And I'm just lining that, because it's night time and I'm having silhouettes, I'm actually lining that in black. If you've watched any of my other videos, under normal circumstances I don't really use a lot of black, not as a basic colour, but with this one it was different, I could do that. So again, I'm just lightening up the trunks of the trees. I'm using my pewter, I'm using my pewter on this one just to bring some up, because this is what's giving the texture to the trunk now. So I'm doing it nice and thinly. And down the bottom here I mix in a little green just to have a little bit of mossy look on the bottom, but it's all hints of. And then I use my needle just to spread it around, but if you're going to do that, do be careful because you snap them very easily. Now if you look in that corner where I'm shoving it out the way, I've got a slightly brighter orange now, and I'm going to start to bring some light in here. I want it to get brighter nearer to us. So I'm putting hints now. But again, this is just the impression of leaves. I'm not worried about it looking like leaves as such. And that's going to be a bush behind another tree. And I go in and I don't know whether I don't think I showed you, but I will do. I put that bright orange colour down, and then I just laid a very thin layer of darker colour over it, darker brown, and just felted that in as well, just to break up the orange. So again, this is the big tree that's close. Now, interesting enough, I've said in another video of mine that watch out you don't make patterns when you're doing pictures. You can kind of repeat the same shape. It's like a muscle memory and you keep doing it. Well, if you watch this tree in a minute, it looks like the tree behind it made a clone, and that clone stepped forward. See the roots? Well, you can't quite see it now, but the roots are almost the same. To me, it looked like the same tree. So I had to go back in and just alter it and try and make it look less like I'd made two of the same tree. So I do think I changed the roots a little bit, I think mainly, because the trunk was all right. It looked like marching trees. So I did change it slightly. So now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going up this with some of my pewter colour. You can go up with a little pale, very pale yellow if you want to, or something like that. But we will go and add some more colour to this in a minute. And that's just a slightly warmer orange. I use the same oranges and things throughout the whole picture. I don't mix up lots of different varieties of orange. But it's just how you lay it down. Can you see how that blue on the ground on the path gives that nice cold distance blue to it, like moonlight? I like that. So now I'm just popping in some branches. We've got to pay more attention to these trees because these are the ones that people will see and look at. You won't really look at the trees in the background, but you will look at these. So this is just some slightly warmer, because I'm going to have it more orange as it comes towards us. It's more blue in the distance. and I'm going to have more orange coming towards us. So that's why I'm putting, but everything I put on that tree is done very thinly. So you've got thin pewter, thin brown, thin orange, and this again is black, and I'm just going up the top of the trees in more in black. Because it's, as the higher you look away, the darker it would get. And I want any of the light to be on the lower parts of the tree. See, I nearly put that branch, you see how I changed my mind? I nearly put that branch in the same place as the branch in front. It's so easy to fall into that and just keep making patterns of the same thing. So what I've done here is I've got some of the oranges and the colours you'll see at the end, and I'm just rolling them in my fingers and making little blobs. All I'm trying to do is, because these are closer to me, I just want to give it a slightly more uniformed edge in places, because when you put it down and it's just the carded wool, it's a very hazy edge, and I wanted to start to give just the idea that there's actual solid shapes in amongst that. So I put a few colours and small round blobs down. They don't have to stay round, but they were just to give hints of more texture in it. And now I'm just back to laying down the oranges and things on the ground. I just want to keep it subtle at the moment. And now, because these tree branches are closer to us, we're starting to get more colour on the leaves. So as you can see, I've got more of the reddy foxy colour browns in it now. And then I went over it with some slightly lighter kind of a yellowy brown. You'll see, as I say, you'll see the colours more at the end. But you can mix the colours how you want. You haven't got to do it like me in that sense. Just mix your oranges and yellows and browns together so you've got a selection of colours. When you go to lay the leaves down, it's not all one colour. Can you see that little selection on the left hand side there? It's got little bits of more of a golden yellow in it and browns and things, and that's what gives me the variety on the leaves. See how thinly I'm doing it. So now we're going to start building up some of the trees on this side as well. So again, I'm starting to bring them forward. But I noticed there was like gaps where there wasn't going to be enough. I don't know where I'm putting the trees on that side yet, you see, so I need to make sure that I've got trees in the background. We're back to that, you know, starting to bring the colour forward to us. And I obviously don't want all my leaves on the same level there, so obviously as the trees get further away, the leaves height would get lower. That's why the leaves look lower. And I'm using black again here. I'm just trying to see if I can add a few extra branches that go into the leaves a bit. And that's some more black down that side of the tree. I want that side to be quite dark. My habit is to twist the wool, and it was very hard not to. It just didn't seem to work. The brown I've got at the moment, I don't mind, but I probably wouldn't get, again, this very dark brown. This is called Black Welsh, I think. But I'm not very, I don't know, it sounded like it was going to be nice and dark, which is why I bought it, but it's got too many other coloured fibres in it. It has little white fibres and things like that in it. And I sometimes have to fight them, and I don't like the way it bonds together. I've had other brown wools that go nicer together when you roll it up, where this is kind of I really don't know how to explain it, but it's not my favourite wool. I probably wouldn't get the Black Welsh again. So you can see how I'm using some quite bright colours now on this tree, because I want it to really light up towards us. I think I've had other browns there. You saw when I pulled it up as I was stretching it. This kind of pulls apart too quickly, I think is what I'm saying. It pulls apart in blobs. Although it's carded wool, it doesn't seem to hold itself together. And so it makes it more difficult for me to pull it and twist it and things like that. So we're just doing exactly the same thing with the trees. Make sure it's lighter as it's facing the path, darker as it goes away on the other side. At the end of the picture, I do actually lop off maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch of this picture on the side I'm working on now, because I didn't like the big blue space behind the tree. And so I chopped most of that off. And you just, if you look in the final picture, you just have a sliver of blue down there. So now I'm putting in some stronger coloured tree leaves again. I'm still just laying it down like I normally do in patches, but I will go back and do the same thing with these as I did with that little bush earlier, and I will roll up some different colours, some lights and darks, oranges and things, and give it more of a leaf look. But you'll see me do that in a minute. And again, I'm just seeing if I can put some branches in and make a difference. I wanted to attach the leaves to the trees really, which is what I'm trying to do with these little twiggy branches. So you can see me rolling it, and I'm just putting little bits in. Because this branch here was supposed to be quite close, so this is why I wanted it to have a bit more texture. So I kind of built the leaves up on this one. I've just started Patreon, and I want to say thank you to all my supporters for joining. You mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And this was an early access picture that they got to see. And if you'd be interested in doing that and seeing all these things, then please check out the link below. You'd be very welcome. So can you see how I'm doing this leaves, because it's that much closer, into little more like little blobs, so it's got some texture up close. And then I'm carrying that on mainly up into, I'm not doing all the leaves on all the trees. It's not going to be sort of like 300 hours of tiny blobs, but I want to do some to give because these are so much closer, I wanted to give a bit of texture to them. and I have some control over some the lighter areas and the darker areas on the tree leaves as well then. So I'm just building up some lighter bits now where the moonlight's really going to catch it. And then I will have some darker little bits of orange here and there further back or underneath the golden colour. And this is another picture where I pinned it up and left it for a little while to see what I thought about the leaves and things. And I did go back in, not on the video, but you'll see it in the picture. I went back in afterwards and I did add a few extra little bits of browny leaves and things to break up the golden orange on the leaves on the trees as it is. So I added a few slightly darker brown bits just to give a bit more, like you could see through the tree and things. Not see through the tree, see through the leaves and things. So can you see I haven't done every single leaf on every single thing. And I want the nice contrast between the blue moonlight in the background and the lighter colour up by me. So this is why this is quite bright cold. This I think is called marigold. It's not yellow, but it's a bright orange yellow. And then I'm just building some, I wanted that to stand out, so I'm building some slightly darker oranges and things around that bit. So what I'm doing is I'm building up the look of leaves and things lying on the ground and patches and stuff. So this is where I've mixed the browns and the oranges together, and we're now going to fill that along the front. And there's a little bit of, can you see there's a bit of that petrol colour in there as well. I'm not worried, I just want it blobby. Because I still will work on that a little bit more. Now this here is going to be a fallen tree trunk. And I'm doing it in black first because I'm going to build colours up over it afterwards. So I'm really just blocking in the shape of the trunk here. Now I would normally say don't put something right across the front of your picture because you block people coming into it, but I have left areas where your eyes can walk around the picture, so you can walk around that trunk and you can also see over it to the background, if you see what I mean. So that's, to me, I liked it. It looked quite good in the end. It seemed to work out okay. I wasn't completely sure it would, but it did work out okay. So I want this trunk to look like it's sort of arched and slightly off the ground, so it's landed over the path but you can still see under it, which is why I've put a bit of that gold colour underneath it as well. So it's going to give the impression that you can see under the trunk and through to the lighter area on the other side. But I'm doing all this in black at the moment, just literally drawing in the shape. And what I'm putting in now is a shadow that the trunk is going to make. So on this trunk I want to add more green. I want colour and things to show on this, some moss and stuff. It's been laying there a long time gathering all this moss. So I'm using my green and I'm just going on nice and thinly, as you can see. And I'm just laying that over it, because if you do it thinly enough it's still going to give the dark through it and you'll still get the texture of bark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up browns and greens and things along this trunk. Little bits of orange and things. Because obviously I don't want the whole thing to look like black and then with something over the top of it. The black is just to give me the really dark shadows. I've just realised I didn't show at the end that particular green I was using there, but that's my favourite green. It's called a moss green. It isn't from World of Wool, which is what all my other pictures are. This came from, I think it's called The Makers. There is a video further back that shows you about the wools and things I used at one point, and that will actually show you the name and where I got it from if you're interested in that colour. But that's the only little bit of green. Any green, it was just a lighter green, because the green I show you at the end is quite a dark one. So if whatever light green you've got, can you see that one there? It's just, you want something like that colour, or mix your dark green with some yellow, that kind of thing, or white. I just want a little bit of highlight colour on it somewhere. So I'm still just building up the bark effect really. And this is a bit of that marigold. But you can see, I mean, it's wisps I'm using. Little bits of foxy brown, little bits of marigold, little bits of green. Now this is black. I'm going back in because I want really dark shadows. So if you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a like. It helps my channel grow and I'd very much appreciate it. And if you have any comments, I'm always happy to read them and I will respond to you. So you can always leave me a comment in the comments below as well. You have to let me know what you thought of this one. It's a little bit different. It's different colours. I normally just use, like, I'm a greens girl really, but I thought it would be nice as it's autumn to, pardon the pun, branch out a bit and go with something different. So don't forget, all my colours are listed at the end. And I decided I wanted to darken the corners down a little bit because I want you to stay on the path. So I just do both sides just a touch. And I didn't want this corner here just to be dark brown like that, so I've added a root from a tree just poking out through the ground. So I've done the black and then I've just gone over it with a little bit of the darker green I've got. Just give a little bit of interest in that corner. But not only that as well, if you look, it gives you like a little pathway in. You go between the two log bits. This is what I'm doing. I go back through my leaves and I add some more little blob bits to give a little bit more texture there. Some lights and some darks. But so you don't need to do every leaf on every tree. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this picture. Do give me a like if you did. Don't forget, I'm over on Patreon now if you fancy getting in early with some of these things and having some exclusive videos. And these are the colours. I hope it helps. And I will see you on the next video. So thank you very much for watching and bye for now.